My mom is a pediatric ICU nurse at one of the children's hospitals in Portland, Oregon. She has been for over 20 years now. This job is her passion, and I grew up listening to stories about the incredibly resilient kids she worked with. I watched her bring home baked goods and gifts from families she got close to. And I vividly remember that even when it was obvious it hadn't been a good day, or she'd lost a kid, her love for her work was always clear. For as long as I can remember, all I've wanted was to find a job and a career that I loved as much as my mom loved hers. People like to ask me if I wanted to be a nurse like my mom when I grew up, but I knew that I needed to find my own way to help people and find that passion she had. My first involvement in community engagement was based around religion. I was raised Catholic and attended a private Catholic school from kindergarten through 8th grade. We did everything from getting toys donated for Toys for Tots, or cleaning up the Stations of the Cross around the church, or raising money for a local animal shelter. Every year, with each grade as we got older, we had a more engaged community engagement project. In 8th grade, we got to spend Friday afternoons volunteering at a retirement home down the street, and watching the entire place light up when we arrived, simply to play card games or sit and listen to stories. That was the first time I got to see the impact of community work. When I got to high school, I started to think about what I wanted to do with my life. I continued to find ways to volunteer. Often it was still motivated by a requirement for NHS or another organization or class. But even with that, I found more value for the work that I was doing. It meant more to me than just checking a box. The summer after my sophomore year, at the recommendation of a friend of my parents, I spent a week at the University of Oregon attending a high school business camp. And as dramatic as it sounds, I know that week set me forward on the path I'm on now. I sort of fell in love with the concept of business, particularly in the way that it was based around relationships and people and creating solutions to everyday problems. From there, I can't quite place what put me on the idea of looking into the nonprofit sector, but the idea of combining the things I loved about business with a mission felt like the perfect fit for my passion. For a while after that, well into the fall of my senior year of high school, I was pretty set on getting a business degree at the University of Oregon. At least I was, until one of my best friends told me I should look into the University of Minnesota. She was mostly kidding, mainly joking because her family's from Minnesota. She knew that's where she wanted to go and wanted to drag me along, but obviously it worked better than expected. As soon as I saw that the Carlson School actually had an undergraduate program dedicated to nonprofit management, I knew I had to apply. In the February of my senior year in high school, after I had been accepted to the U, my mom and I came to visit campus. I had never set foot in the Midwest, and I knew absolutely nothing about Minnesota. Besides, the second that we stepped off the plane, I was freezing and surrounded by snow. But I fell absolutely in love with the Twin Cities immediately. The people, the snow, the campus, the sheer number of opportunities within the nonprofit sector, it all seemed pretty perfect. So that's where I am now. Even though it meant moving halfway across the country to a state where I knew one single person, I have not regretted that decision once in the past 4 years. My experience with community engagement has shifted a lot throughout college. I've had so many opportunities to volunteer with so many different causes and organizations in lots of different fashions. And a lot of them have been due to my decision to join the Community Engaged Scholars Program. I've written pen pal letters to my little with big brothers and big sisters through COVID. I helped organize silent auction items for Make-A-Wish's first ever virtual fundraising gala. I spent every day last summer learning everything I could about Section 8 housing and SNAP programs, state insurance from the AmeriCorps term I was doing. And every single one of these experiences has left me with something, some lesson or good memory or more understanding. Of course, I can't possibly talk about my community engagement journey without talking about KEEM. When I stopped by a booth with a Caterpillar logo at the Explore U event the first week of my freshman year, I had absolutely no idea what I was getting myself into, or how much this organization would come to mean to me. Even looking past the tangible career skills I've gained over the past few years, helping essentially run a small nonprofit, I can't begin to describe the impact that the people in KEEM have had on me and the growth I've gone through purely due to their love and support and the magic of what we do. I've never met more resilient kids and college students who somehow, beyond all odds, managed to create the same community of love and magic through a computer screen for 2 years of completely online programming, who have taught me time and time again that KESM is not a place, but a feeling, and that feeling to me is home. And I know that if I take anything away from this whole lifelong journey of community engagement, it will be those connections, that ability to make someone feel like they have a home, a place, no matter who or where they are. That holds more value than anyone could ever understand. At this point, I have no idea what my life holds after graduation, and while that probably should scare me a bit more than it does, I think that these lessons I've taken away from all of my community engagement experience are telling me that I'll find a place to make a difference. Whether it's on one person or on hundreds, I don't think it really matters. It's not about the quantity, but the quality of the impact that you have on the world, however you see that should be.